Hello and welcome to today's Ask Me Anything coaching session. I'm Justin, one of the co-founders here at SiteSwan, and I'm very excited to have you all here today, 25 people so far. We are here to talk about pretty much anything related to starting, running, growing, scaling a web design business, and anything in between. Ahead of time, some of you have been nice enough to submit some questions, but before we get to those, I want to point you to the questions tab, which is where you're going to communicate with me during our chat today. Not only will you be able to ask the question you actually have, but any comments, any thoughts, whatever you could put in as a question. I have at least 2 moderators on here today who's going to help me answer everyone's questions. Before we get going, for those of you who are new to this, because we do these every couple of weeks, I'd like you all to share your wins. Who here can tell me something positive that has happened in their web design business in the last couple of weeks? I am eager to hear what you have. It could be a chat you had with somebody. It could be a demo you've done. It could be an opportunity you had. It could be a site you sold. It could be several sites you've sold. It could be you raising your prices or doing something different with your efforts in web design. Let's hear what you got. I want to start the conversation off with hearing from you all. And it looks to me like some new faces. Some new faces. I don't recognize Joe, Millie, Phil, Joseph. No way, I don't recognize you, Joseph. Mike's on again. Hey, Mike. Ed's on. Hey. Cake. Mike. Again, Mike. We got Deng. We got Ann. Ken. Ken, I saw your question come through. Evans, welcome back. Tay, Jeff, Nicole, Jason. Renee's brand new. Welcome, Renee. Renee just signed up what? Yesterday? Today? Sammy's here. What's up, Sammy? Curtis, Ryan, Craig, James. What's up, James? R. Andrew, welcome. Anthony, welcome. Steven, good to see you. Let's post your wins, please. What do you got for me? Ryan says, I created a website for a high school friend who owns a restaurant. He wasn't responding. His wife responded recently, and now they're interested in going live with my site. That is excellent. That is excellent. We got Craig, who chimed in saying the past week sold 2 sites. 1 committed to a sign up on Monday. That's awesome, Craig. Excellent work. I'll share a win that I had. A salon, hair salon, that I know the owner of through my wife, resurfaced about a website, who is all over the place with her marketing. But now she's doing this new technique with some sort of hair extensions. She's like, I need a website to tell people about this. And I said to her, what have you been doing for a website all this time? And she's like, I'm too embarrassed to show you. I'm like, well, it can't be that bad. It was that bad. She did something. She built one herself, and then one she got through her payment processor. Ugh. They were horrible. So it looks like we'll be hopefully moving forward there. Let's see. Ed says, working on 2 website demos for potential clients. 1 for a book author. Very nice. 1 for the Lions Club. That is cool. Mike called about 1 business, but customer wanted a website for a different business. Hey, always like to see that. That's happened a couple times to me. Sammy, listen to this. Sammy did a career day presentation, okay, which I think was what, for your nephew? If I'm not mistaken, Uncle Sammy was invited to speak for the class, if I remember last. Yes, okay, good. So Sammy went to his nephew's school for career day, spoke about what he does, website design for small businesses, sent over 200 brochures home with students. How cool is that? He just got free advertising to 200 households by doing career day at his nephew's school. That's so cool. All righty. Those are the wins. I like what I see. Let's get to it. So some of you are brand new, and I just want to touch on something real quick. Like, I know Renee's like, I don't have a win. I just started. I know, that's okay. But at least you get to hear what some other people are doing. Now, for anyone who's brand new, which I do suspect there's at least 10 or 12 of you who are here today who are brand new, I want to point you to something super, super important. That's our 14-day launch plan. Okay. And this is what you are going to be using, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but at least some of you who spoke about your wins can point to the 14-day launch plan as helping you get to that point of securing a deal. So the 14-day launch plan is where I want you to spend the most of your time and effort when you're brand new. It's going to bring you up to speed on exactly what you have to do to get ready to start selling sites. And as the name suggests, there's no reason why you can't have a site or more sold within just 2 weeks of following our protocol. Okay, let's get into it. So prior to the chat, a couple questions came through. One of them, Ken, I'm going to need clarity on this because you wrote this in. I don't understand it. You said, how do I direct the website from one website theme to another one? I'm going to try and answer it. If you want to clarify in the questions tab, I'll take a look at it. How do I direct the website from one website theme to another one? So you can't change the theme of a website. Once you have committed to a design using one of the themes, that's it. You're in it. If you need to use a different theme, you are going to have to go in and create a new site using the new theme you want to create. I don't see this request a lot. So if that was the question, that's your answer. If you meant something else by that, by all means, please clarify in the questions and we'll be happy to look at that. All right. James said, how do you set up an online booking function using Google Workspace or other apps? So I don't know for sure that Google Workspace offers online booking. Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, let's talk about the application. And if James, if you want to chime in with a question of exactly the client concern that came in, what type of business the client is in, and how they came to you with this concern. Are they looking to switch from paper billing to online booking? Do they already have an online booking solution? I would love to have a little more context with that. But if you guys have ever seen when you go somewhere online, you have the option sometimes, usually to book a call, but it's online booking, okay? And the concept is that the online booking system is attached in some way to the calendar or calendars that are populated or run by the business so that you can secure a spot for your appointment in between everything else already booked on the calendar. I do this with my barber. He has this online booking solution. It's pretty simple. Each and every one of his haircuts he knows is 20 minutes. If he does, whatever, it's a shave and whatever else, then it's like 30 minutes. So he's got these 20 and 30-minute slots that people can choose from. And that's it's good for that type of thing because this is very, very structured. It's the exact same thing every single time. Nothing goes longer, nothing takes shorter. But when you're talking about appointments to James clarified, it's booking or scheduling for an accounting firm. So if the accounting firm is busy, okay, then it's going to be difficult to offer online scheduling because of the fact that depending on if it's a business or if it's personal, if he's seen the client before, or if he hasn't, if they've got a complex issue, if they don't, it could get tricky, especially when you're doing in-person meetings. People linger, people come late, people show up early. It could be a little helter-skelter. Lots of times, unless the company is demanding it because they need to streamline their efficiencies, booking is something that they could take or leave. If you're going to talk about online booking, though, we have two apps that we do recommend on support.siteswan.com, which is also available from your dashboard. Just click support. I don't know why I just typed it in instead. If you type in schedule, if you spell it right, you'll see we have two recommended apps. One is Calendly, one is Schedulista, and you could explore what this is like. If you booked a call with us, actually, prior to signing up with us, you used Calendly, okay? And it's great for phone calls because you could set a start and an end time. People are really late, stuff like that. Hope that helps, James. So let me just take it a step further, okay? Just because no one asked, but whatever. Let's say you're working with instead of a barber, it's a salon. Salons offer a wider variety of services. They do colorings, they do trims, of course, they do blowouts, they do all this different stuff. And And again, they're going to have times allotted for each thing, and different people do each thing. So it gets a little hairy. But a lot of the softwares that are designed for salons to manage their schedules come with an online booking solution as well. It's like a little URL you could add to the site. How do you implement it? You create a button on your site that says book now and link it up to that URL. And then the entire process for booking happens on the web from their website. So I always like to defer to what their existing system looks like first. Lots of times people don't realize that the software the business is currently running has a booking component to it. They just haven't even thought to ask or explore it yet. Once they do, they'll find it's pretty simple. Ken was clarifying the question he had asked of how to direct a website from one website theme to another. He said, I need to put the domain on the new theme because it was a wrong heading theme, and I didn't hear got knocked off. Oh, I need to put the domain on the new theme. So one of the cool things about changing over a domain name from one site to another is there's like literally nothing you have to do. If you've got a client sold on a site and then you decide later, I want to build them a new site and I want to continue to use their domain name, but just build a new site. Literally, all you have to do is go to the site that has their domain name on it now, go to settings, domain name, take out the URL, save your changes. Then go to the new site, go back to the settings domain name section, paste it in here, save your changes. You just launched a new site with the same domain. That is all you got to do. All right, next question is, Jason's asking, can you use alt tags? Can you add alt tags to photos after you add them to a site? I know you do it when it is in the library before you add it to the site. So let me define this for you, Jason. The first thing I will talk about is what is an alt tag. An alt tag is text that describes an image so that the search engines and people with visual impairments can understand what the photos on the site consist of. I always found this a little ironic because it's like, you know, the old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's like, well, how are we supposed to describe a picture in like 10 or 15 words, which is, about the amount of space that you have for a typical alt tag. Anyway, so the alt tags function is 2-point. The biggest reason people use it nowadays is for SEO purposes, search engine optimization. In order to modify or add an alt tag to an image, the way you do it is from the image editor, or image library, I should say. So when you're adding an image to the site, okay, if you zoom in on it, you're going to see the option to add a caption and add an alt tag. You could type in whatever you'd like here. It's going to be descriptive, and best bet is to use something about the business name or the industry that they're in, or even, I mean, if you really want to go all out, let's just say this is, here's how I might do it. Okay. This is Gilbert, Arizona landscaping masonry supply. Okay. So you see a beautiful backyard here, right? With a little pergola on top. I would probably do something like this. I'd find the image in the library, which is right here. I'd zoom in on it. And I would type in masonry supplies, Gilbert, Arizona, patio, stone, I should probably say stone patio with pergola. Beautiful backyard. Something like that, okay? Be descriptive, use key terms about the business, about the area they serve. This will help when you're conducting searches, okay? So the alt tag gets assigned to the image. To answer Jason's question directly, the alt tag is assigned to the image. No matter where you're using that image on the site, it is now going to have that alt tag associated with it, okay? So we don't modify alt tags on a per image location basis. It's a per image basis. Renee has a question who is brand new, not only to SiteSwan, but also to web design. Well, congratulations and welcome. She's worried though, because she sees that there are a lot of companies advertising on Instagram that they will do website design for $50 a month, no charge for the website itself. It comes with other stuff, CRM, things like that. So the companies that you see most frequently, if they're going to be doing advertising on Instagram, are folks who are very large companies. And these large companies are generally faceless. They do not have a physical presence or location or care or interest in your market. And they're just pushing out to the world as much as they can to get as many folks on board. It's a numbers game for them. They're not looking at quality, they're looking at quantity. I would ask you this, though, Renee. What makes you think that people are going for that? We get this question a lot. People say, well, what about this thing? What about that thing? What about this opportunity, that opportunity? You have to understand a couple of things about advertising and marketing as well as consumer behavior. And in a nutshell, advertising on Instagram does not reach all the small businesses of America. It reaches a very small portion of them, number one. Number two, not all business owners are incentivized to make a buying decision based on price. Business owners nowadays have learned their lesson the hard way for that, dirt cheap solution for XYZ, whatever it may be, website, other service, vendor, product, whatever. And they have come to realize that you get what you pay for when you're paying, pennies on the dollar. The third thing I will say is that unless your prospect specifically states and tells you that they are looking at this other solution, it is technically just something you've seen and not something that is actually a threat to you. The fourth thing I will say is what I kind of alluded to at first, which is that when people are buying a website from you, and everyone else who's on here who's been selling sites for any period of time, you can back me up on this. When you are selling websites to someone, what you are going to find is that you are going to build a very special bond and relationship with these folks overnight. When you are running someone's website, you are running the core of their marketing. And what they want to know is the person who's doing that for them is someone who's reliable, who's trustworthy, who's preferably local, and who's responsive. If you can fulfill those four things, you will have a website client for a very, very long time. You will also find that when you run the website for business, you will get exposed to pretty much every aspect of the business. They will share everything with you because they value your opinion, your time, and your grace. So don't get caught up in what you see out there as possibilities or risks to your success. And not for nothing, Renee, if you wanted to, and you believed it was just a price thing, you could go and win some clients at $50 a month also, because you could stack those up and then you start selling them additional services as well. And you could easily have the price per client go way, way up. Stick to our plan. The 14-day launch plan specifically states this is an outreach game, okay? You are going to use your social outreach, you're going to use your warm outreach, and then you're going to use cold outreach. Go through those phases, and I think you're going to find that especially when you start with social, when you start with warm, you start building relationships, improving your effectiveness, you will never have to worry about whatever anybody's advertising anywhere, because people will know that they can work and trust you to do the right thing for them. So give it a little bit of time, Renee. Don't get caught up in what you see. You'll be able to find success without issue. I promise. Joseph says, I assume that most businesses will want to use an email connected to their domain name. That's an assumption, not true. I'll talk about that. How do you handle this situation? What is your recommendation? So I have a video on this, okay? If you head over to YouTube, and it's right over right here. Right? All right, I mean this when I say this, okay? Don't offer email addresses. The moment you start offering email addresses, you are going to be looked at as their IT person, and it's never, ever worth it. You will never make enough money to justify the amount of work and effort and time you got to put into supporting someone with their email. When you offer someone email addresses, they're immediately going to think that you're now in charge of helping their iPhone email solution. You're going to help their desktop email solution and everything in between. So don't get involved in email addresses. And the truth is, businesses never ask for it. Because if you want to challenge a small business owner, tell them to change their email service provider. And that is something that will make the eyes roll to the back of the head. No one likes to do that, especially small business owners. They have zero interest in it. And let's be honest, so long as they're responding to their clients with a Yahoo Gmail app, doesn't make a difference. No one cares. As long as they're being responsive and they're actually addressing the questions that come in, they are not judged by the domain that is used in their email. So don't you worry one bit about it, Joseph. All right. Oh, Renee had a follow-up about CRM. So that's another thing. That's another thing. One of the references that Renee made to the $50 a month included a CRM. CRMs sound wonderful, right? You have a customer relationship management tool. It's fantastic. Everyone you talk to, you could simply log into this, spreadsheet or database type thing, keep track of them, and then ping them from time to time or whatever. I've never seen a small business owner effectively use a CRM without losing their mind. That's the second biggest way to scare a small business owner, is to tell them they can use a CRM now. New email address and use a CRM. They will run the other direction. There are a very small subset of small business owners who know what a CRM is and who will embrace the use of one, but they're going to be much more technically advanced and oftentimes might be a little further on in their business growth. They might be on to their third, fourth, fifth, or 10th website. But especially for the folks who are struggling with their existing website right now, who might be getting into their first or second website, you will probably find that the CRM is going to be overdoing it for a typical small business owner in terms of what they care about and what they actually want. Because what a typical small business wants is an informational lead generating website that's going to tell the world what they do, what makes them special, how to contact them, to drive more leads so they can close more sales. That's what a small business owner needs and wants out of a website in 2025. And says, this looks like a follow-up to something, but I'm not sure what it is. I know they're optimized and can pay for each site to be listed on major search engines. Do I need to do the SEO on each site I design? And says, do I need to do the SEO on each site I design? So the short answer is yes. And let me just describe what I mean by this. So SEO, for those of you who are not familiar, I'll define it again. Search engine optimization is the ability for a site to effectively come up in search results for terms associated with the brand and the industry that that business is in. So rest assured, when you're creating a site on SiteSwan, you will find that the SEO section is going to be pre-populated with the type of meta title, meta description, meta keywords, which are three major components of SEO, fully optimized for what a business in this industry, in this location, likely does. You may need to go in and modify this just because of the fact that perhaps Mason's Masonry Supply, it's a funny name, is doing some things a typical masonry supply company does not do and needs to focus on those things. But lots of times the way we have this set up to go with these meta terms is perfectly fine. I'll take it a step further. So long as you're using one of our themes and you don't completely butcher the content, you are going to find that the site is written pretty much perfectly to optimize results for searches that are for this business name and for this industry in this area. Give a quick example, okay? Gilbert's Finest Landscaping and Masonry Services. We're talking about Gilbert, Arizona. So if I type in Gilbert Landscaping Masonry Supplies, guess what site has a fantastic chance at coming up first for search results? This one right here. As we scroll down, you are going to see top quality mason supplies in Gilbert, Arizona. You want to know how many searches are conducted every day for a term like this? A lot. We embed the business name and so many other details about the industry terminology into the site, throughout the site, to give the site the best possible chance at showing up first for local search results. But we do have what's called an SEO checklist. And the SEO checklist is going to take you from start to finish on all the things that you can do to really enhance the site's ability to perform in local search. If you go through this 10-point checklist, the first time you do it, it's going to take you a few minutes. The next time you do it and every subsequent time after, it's going to take you less and less and less and less, and you will realize how simple it actually is to get the sites found in local search results. One of the things Anne asked about was submitting the site to the search engines. So we have something called the search engine submission tool. So every site that you launch, it's my personal recommendation to get the site submitted to the search engines, not just once, but on a monthly basis. Yes, it comes with an additional cost, but holy cow, is this effective? Because what's essentially happening is we're telling the search engines behind the scenes, hey, if you haven't already recently, come check out Mason's Masonry Supply site. You should come and get updated information for your index. And that communication, that constant pinging, is extremely helpful in getting the sites found for search. Lots of people charge extra for this. Lots of people don't, and they just assume the cost. Either way, it's super powerful in helping you achieve the top-notch results for your clients. Barnegut's asking, voicemail. Should we be leaving voicemails if the customer doesn't pick up? Barnegut, that's a decision that you're going to have to make based on your approach that you take. So what do I mean by that? In the world of cold outreach, which is probably what you're talking about, actually, let's define what the different situations in which you are going to be calling somebody, okay? If you have a prospect who has expressed interest to you via social outreach, via warm outreach, 100% you're leaving a voicemail. There's no reason why not to. In fact, I'd recommend leaving a voicemail and shooting them a text, assuming it's their cell phone number, which it might be. Let's be honest, if a business's phone number is going to voicemail, there is a high likelihood it is a cell phone, because there aren't many businesses that have a phone on their desk and they're not picking it up every single time that it rings, okay? So if it's going to voicemail, it's likely a cell phone. Shoot them a text, see what happens. Now, what was I saying? Voicemails. So and just going back to our 14-day launch plan, we do dictate 3 different phases. One is social, one is warm, one is cold outreach. If we're talking about cold outreach, we do make a recommendation to call and email. Some people choose email first and then they call. Some people choose to call first and then they email. So based on what you find to be effective for you, some people sound fantastic on voicemails. I'm one of the people who I don't, okay? So I prefer not to leave voicemails. I don't like the way I sound. I don't think I speak the same way to a recording as I do to a person. I don't find myself to be super effective. Other people swear by leaving voicemails. You have to figure out what works for you. How would you differentiate the strategies? So you might call first, leave a voicemail, and then follow up with an email to see if they got your voicemail. Or you might email first and then call with a voicemail to see if they got your email. If you're going to be calling the person multiple times in a day, if you're even calling them multiple times in, a couple of days, it might be best to just leave one voicemail and then continue to call without leaving voicemails. Some people will reverse it. They'll start out with a call, no voicemail, call again, no voicemail, call again, and then they leave a voicemail. So you got to see what works, play around with it. Everybody's different. Every market's different in terms of how people respond. What's cool nowadays is that when you're leaving a voicemail on most mobile devices now, they will give you the transcription from the voicemail. In fact, while it's happening too, which is really cool. Anyway, speak as clearly as you can into the voicemail so that the transcription is clear, because nowadays I rarely listen to the voicemail. I read it first, and then if it's appealing or intriguing or I want to hear it, then I'll go and listen to it. So if it's easy for the person to read, you have a higher success of them seeing it. All right. Sammy's saying, I decided to launch a local Yelp ad campaign. What is your experience with ad campaigns, and which do you think are best? Yelp, Google, Facebook, etc. Well, if you ask Renee, she'll say Instagram. That's where she's seeing her ads. It all, you're going to hate when I say it. It kind of all depends, okay? And here's the logic behind it. Yelp. So I have like this, I don't know. I have this theory about Yelp, mostly as a small business, like a service-related business, something like that. I feel like Yelp has this thing where they'll never admit to it, and I don't even know if they do it for sure, but it feels like if you don't advertise with them, they will rank you lower or like remove some of your positive reviews. Like, it's really strange. As someone who's going after other businesses and really truly B2B, as this is, I don't have a ton of experience where I could advise you how effective a Yelp ad campaign can be. Because to me, Yelp audience is mostly consumers. It's mostly everyday people looking for a place to go eat, a service provider to conduct a service for them, things of that nature. I don't see a lot of B2B stuff happening on Yelp. It's probably just, it's either my personal experience, I haven't seen it, or that's just the nature of Yelp. And you're not going to see that. Sammy, the best thing to know would be, when did you start the Yelp campaign and what have you gleaned from it so far? As for other campaigns, I know for a fact that Google can work. I know for a fact that Facebook can work. My only question for you would be, Sammy, have you done the launch plan? And is there something about going through the launch plan that makes you feel that you need to extend outside of that so that you can further scale? Running ads is a great way to scale, but one of the most reliable, cost-effective ways to win clients is going to be continuing to do it. Ryan is chiming in. Oh boy, here we go. Ryan used to work for Yelp. Ryan used to work for Yelp selling ads in Arizona, and he says in capital letters, their ads do not work. He follows it up to say, also, who uses Yelp anymore? Nobody I ever met. So there you go. See, look how this community is coming together, helping you save your money, Sammy. So I guess there's your answer. You've got it from two people now. Maybe Yelp's not the right choice, but Ryan, I got to say something. Let's just talk about this for a second. You must be a very good salesperson, because I have run into, like, every Yelp salesperson that I've ever come into, hyper effective, like really, really, really good, persistent. Ryan, maybe that was a tough environment for you to work in, but I will say this: apply some of what you've learned about sales from Yelp into selling website design, except for the high pressure kind of stuff, and I think you'll do just fine. Ryan, I'd like you to post in the questions 3 big takeaways that you've gotten from working at Yelp selling. 3 takeaways about effective selling techniques that Yelp taught you. Because I feel like if there's one good thing I could say about Yelp is that they have a very good sales management, systematic sales management process in place. Because like I said, every Yelp person I ever ran into or came across has been very effective. So if you wouldn't mind taking a minute to post that in the questions, I'd love to read that out loud for everybody on what you gleaned from working at Yelp in sales about sales. Alves said there's a lot of themes and niches to choose from. How do I choose the right one without overthinking it? Will this be a continuous case of trial and error? Alvis is talking about the fact that our 14-day launch plan specifically says we want you to choose 3 different industries to focus on for your cold outreach efforts. cold outreach efforts. To be able to sell lots of sites to small businesses, it is wise to focus on 3 industries so that you can properly measure and see which industry is best. The technique that we specifically call for is to continue to find 5 or 10 new businesses every single day in the cold outreach phase that's in that one vertical. And what you're going to find is you'll become extremely effective at understanding what makes each of those industries tick. So it is kind of a game of guess and check. In fact, one of the last steps of the 14-day launch plan is actually to look back and assess what went well and what didn't, so that next time you go through it, because there will be next time, you should go through this over and over and over again, you choose 3 different industries. Also in the 14-day launch plan, we specify a list of, I think, 25 of what we consider very good options for industries to target. You don't have to use those, but if you did, you would probably not regret it. And I also think that you should pay very close attention to the new site themes that we release here. So let me just talk about this real quick, folks. These themes that you see on the Create New Site screen are professionally done by our staff, doing extensive research about this industry to make sure that what you are about to present to the client using this design is going to be one of the absolute best websites on the internet for this industry. I can't emphasize enough the amount of time and energy that goes into these designs, because we care and we want to show you that we care, and you want to show your clients that you care. Now, how do we come up with these different concepts for themes? The last, I forget how many, 20 plus, maybe even 30 plus themes at this point. We recently rolled out the option for our resellers, just all you folks, to request themes, but more specifically, push your theme to the top of the list. We charge $99 for it. So if you have an opportunity to sell a website to someone and you don't see a theme specifically for that industry, which, let's be honest, is becoming harder and harder to find themes that we don't have industries for, or industries we don't have themes for, you tell us what it is. We will conduct the research. We will create a dynamite site for that industry that you can then turn around and sell to your client. It takes a little less than a week usually, but you're going to come out with something really, really cool. And of course, look, all these are customizable, right? You start working on this theme for a courier service. You can change the colors, the logo, the photos, everything. But this gives you a framework and not just a homepage. Remember that. All of our themes are 5, 6, or more pages of content that are ready to go. So if anyone feels the need to suggest a theme to us, you're more than welcome to. It doesn't cost you anything to suggest it, but if you want to prioritize it, $99, and you're going to have one of the best looking sites for this industry on the internet, hands down. Ryan was nice enough to give us 3 takeaways he's gotten from working at Yelp. And here they are. Number 1, it's okay to be assertive without being a jerk. I totally agree with that. It's okay to be assertive without being a jerk. Assert yourself, but do not make it a point to be a jerk. The second thing is to be consistent. I can't agree with this enough. So consistency can mean a lot of things. I'll tell you what it means to me. Consistency means, number 1, commit to calling or reaching out to the same number of people every day. Don't take a day off because maybe you're worried that whatever, you don't feel like you should, or you say you can't, or don't have the time, or whatever. Do it anyway. Consistency day in and day out is what separates the good from the great. Okay? You put in more reps, you put in more calls, you put in more emails, you put in more effort, you're going to get more out the other side. And also when it comes to consistent, I also relate that in a certain way to persistence, because if you have a consistency of calling a particular business at the same time every day because they usually pick up, be consistent and continue to call at that time. Don't start changing things up just because. Do what's worked previously and continue to do it. And Ryan's third nugget of wisdom after working from Yelp is don't buy ads from Yelp. I'm not lying. That's what he said. That's what he said. All right. Back to the questions. All right. Joseph says, "How do you have any advice or share? Do you have any advice or want to share issues encountered while setting up websites for customers outside the U.S., especially accepting payments via Stripe account?" If anyone has sold sites internationally and you've come across something you think would be helpful to someone, please put it in the questions tab. I'll read it out loud. Generally speaking, I've sold a couple sites abroad and not a heck of a lot changes. As far as what you're charging them, look, it's your world, right? They want to work with you. They certainly can. They're going to pay your fees, right? So it's not unusual for a business that is operating with a different currency to charge you in their currency. So the same case for you. If you're charging $99 a month, and it varies a little bit from month to month on their side because of conversion rates and stuff like that, ultimately, they will probably be perfectly fine with it. So I wouldn't stress too much about that. Let it happen first. Let it be a problem first, and then you can talk about, how to get around that if you really needed to. All right. Tay says, "How does someone use SiteSwan as a side hustle while working a full-time job still until we can make a switch? When to make the calls?" So I can speak to that a little bit, Tay. If anyone has a specific recommendation for Tay, please chime in with the questions, but I will share with you what I know about this. You're wise for not quitting your day job until you feel really good that this is something you can effectively switch to full-time. What it's going to require is that you putting an effort outside of normal business hours to be able to secure clients. The good news is that 2 out of the 3 of our recommended methods for outreach involve things you could do literally any time of day. Social outreach, which you can post 24/7. Warm outreach, which, let's be honest, as long as the person you're reaching out to isn't sleeping, and even if they are, you are going to be just fine reaching out to people pretty much any time of day or night. The third part, cold outreach, you still have tons of opportunities to work after hours. Realize a couple of things. Number one, you don't have to call within your own time zone. So if you want to reach out to people that are back a few hours or whatever it is, especially if you're on the East Coast, it makes it super easy. You can certainly do that. Otherwise, you're calling Hawaii. The other thing about cold outreach is that there are a lot of businesses who will only pick up their phone reliably after 6 p.m. I know a lot of service businesses, like you can't get a landscaper on the phone before 6 p.m. during the spring and summer months. You just can't. Same way with a lot of HVAC companies. They will only pick up the phone after hours because the guy who's doing the jobs is also on the phone. And when he's in someone's attic trying to fix the ductwork, he's not going to pick up his phone that's ringing when it's 110 degrees in the attic. So you have to take that into consideration. There's lots of opportunities where people are only willing and able to pick up their phone when it's not normal business hours. So, Tay, I think you have the right idea about keeping the job, put in the time and the effort after hours. Guess what? Weekends too. It's a ton of business owners who operate on the weekends. A ton. Do not browse past the option to cold call when you get to that phase businesses on Saturdays and Sundays. You want to make a success of this. You want to eventually quit that full-time job or dial it down or just take a part-time job or something like that. You got to put in the extra effort and time now. It will pay you back later. All right. Next question that we got. By the way, I want to ask a question, everybody here. Some of you have been doing a lot of these calls with us, which is wonderful. Others, it's your first time. And I want to know, does the format of this, where we're talking about pretty much everything and we're bouncing around from topic to topic, from sales to some cases to design, to strategy, to working off hours, so on and so forth. I want to know if it's confusing to you or not, or if this is effective. So I'm going to launch a quick little poll, all right? And the poll is basically going to ask you, what format you prefer. So it's going to say option 1 is going to say ask me anything, and anything being in caps, and option 2 is topic specific. All right, that's going out there. So let me know what you guys think. You can just click one of the options, click submit vote, and then you'll be able to see the results also. So I'll let you all do that real quick. All right. Cool. The results are coming in. Very much in favor of this format, but there's still time for you topic-specific folks to catch up. 18 of you have replied. There's 36 here at the moment. I want at least 10 more replies. If you're here, I want you replying. We want to do what you guys find to be the most helpful for your ability to sell more sites. While we're doing that, let's look at a question from Mike, who says, I know the sites come with privacy policies, but what are your thoughts and input on having a terms of service, disclaimers, etc.? So my thoughts on it is I'd take it or leave it. So yeah, the privacy policy is relatively new for us. This particular site didn't have it, but when you create any new site, and you can just preview them, you're going to notice that there's a privacy policy at the bottom. The privacy policy is very, very rudimentary. It's designed to appease the folks who feel like they have to have one, because there's very little that is being captured from the user that we have to even specify in a privacy policy. So the reason we actually put this out was because we're like, well, we're collecting pretty much zero information from you. Unless you choose to submit your information, then it gets safely secured and transferred to the business owner, and that's really about it. So the privacy policy was designed to basically explicitly state that, so that there was be no assumptions from people about what is actually going on behind the scenes. We wanted to be totally transparent with that. Terms of service, disclaimers, I can take or leave. If your client's not asking for it, don't start going down that road. I don't think it's a big issue. And look, if you want to, another thought too, like if there's so many little things, you could say, hey, look, if you want a terms of service, if you want all this other stuff, like, I could charge you for it, right? All right, next up. Craig says, can you explain a little bit about, actually, let me go back to the polls to see what you guys said. All right, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. People prefer this flow of ask me anything. So here we go. We're going to go in a completely different direction now, okay? Tay, let me just show you what I was referring to before. Sorry, guys, one more thing. Tay is saying, hey, those industries, what the hey? How do I find them? Tay, let me show you. 14-day launch plan. Click visit link. When you get to this page, I want you to click download the launch plan. When you download the launch plan, you're going to scroll down. And in the cold outreach section, you are going to find a big, huge graphic. Here it is. And you're going to see all the industries that we suggest in our 14-day launch plan as really good opportunities. All right. Screenshot this if you want, or just go to your resources section, download the 14-day launch plan, and you are good to go. All right. Next question came from Craig. Said, can you explain about reputation management? I would love to learn more about that. Sure thing. So, guys, if you don't already know this, businesses are paying extra close attention. Consumers are paying extra close attention to how a business is rated, specifically on Google, Yelp also, and Facebook, about what's being said about them online. However, most small businesses are completely in the dark about what's being said about them. So this solution is designed to be able to help your clients understand what's being said about them online, get more positive reviews for their business, minimize the amount of negative reviews that show up for their business, so that they can essentially get more people in the door and get more business. The reputation management service is accessible from the site details page of your dashboard. From here, what you're going to do in order to sell this is you are going to locate the business on Google, punch in their Facebook URL if they have one, punch in their Yelp URL if they have one, generate a free sample report. This sample report, which looks like this, is going to be something that will update every single day. And this is what you can actually use to sell this service. This alone will sell the service. You show them their average star rating across all the networks where their reviews exist, the total number of reviews they have, reviews broken down by number of stars, reviews broken down by source, and then every single review that's ever been posted about them online going back to the beginning of time. Each review can be viewed or shared. It can be printed. It's a nice report, easy to understand, and can be emailed to them every single day. This is part one of the service. This is review monitoring. This alone is worth the suggested retail price of $99 a month. The second part of the service, though, is what's going to allow them to reduce the amount of negativity that goes in their reviews and increase the amount of positivity. Let me show you what I mean. This is a review request form that gets added to your client's site. This is something that will start the process for their customers to leave a review with them. What's cool about this is if I leave a 4 or a 5-star review, type in my review and my name, I'm going to be presented with an option to immediately copy and paste what I just wrote and post it onto Google, Facebook, or Yelp, my choice. It's a wonderful way to be able to make sure that people can take the positivity they just shared with you, post it publicly, making it super easy for them. However, if by some chance the review was about an experience that was not so great and they did 1, 2, or 3 stars, instead, what we're going to do is show them another form they could fill out to express themselves about what went wrong and tell us how they can fix it. That does a couple of things. Number one, it helps the consumer feel heard and understood that there is a problem that needs to get resolved. And number two, it gives the business owner the chance to resolve the issue and make things right to better understand what happened so that they can turn a 2 or 3-star reviewer into a 4 or a 5-star reviewer. Everybody benefits. So by doing this intelligent review request form, you're optimizing the amount of 5-star reviews that go online, minimizing negativity. Together, this 2-part solution makes for a very attractive offer for every single small business. I don't care if they have 0 reviews, if they have 10 reviews, if they have 300 reviews. There is a need and a desire and a solution that can apply to each and every one of those types of clients with this reputation management feature. There is an additional fee for this, $14.99 per month. But again, you're charging $99 to $199 per month per client who takes you up on this, and you pay $0 to sell it. You're just going to generate the free report, show that to them, and that is enough to win the deal. Let's power through these last few questions as we're getting ready to wrap up. Andre says, is it possible to have a video playing in the background over text? Over text or under text? If it's under text, 100%. So what you would do is in your site, so what I would do is I would edit this post, go to style, remove the image, add video, put in any YouTube or Vimeo URL that I want. Now you have a video in the background of this post. It's beautiful. It's silent. It looks so pretty. And that's how that works. If anyone needs a support article on that, type video into the questions and we'll get you a support article. Anne says, suggestions or info on business insurance or LLC. Would you suggest having a Facebook page and Instagram for a website business? So, Anne, a lot of folks decide to get incorporated or get an LLC set up, some sort of business entity. That is your choice, something you should probably have a discussion with an accountant about based on your specific tax situation and your exposure to risk. But when it comes to having business insurance for web design is so incredibly cheap. Don't get ahead of yourself, though. If you haven't yet secured a client, if you don't have 5 clients, don't get business insurance yet. In my opinion, it just feels like it's a little bit too soon. But it's so incredibly inexpensive that if you did secure it, you would probably not even feel the payment come out. It's that minimal, okay? We're not like going up on people's roofs and stuff. Like we're just sitting behind a computer building websites for people that don't actually impact their the physical collection of funds or anything like that when it comes to business operations. Let's see. So, a question came in from Jay. Jay says, I understand that SiteSwan currently populates websites with basic information like phone numbers and business names. That is correct. Is it possible to streamline this process by automatically importing more comprehensive data, like details from existing websites or Google Business profiles during site creation? So, Jay, I so frequently see, well, a couple things. Usually, well, let me go back. I think only once. Only once after selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of websites has anyone ever told me to grab content from their old website. It's super, super rare. Why? People switch websites because something's not working, and it's usually the content. It's usually a lack of content. It's usually a lack of well-written content. I almost never take content from previous client sites because it's nothing compared to what comes with our themes. The exception would be maybe if you're generating a site without one of our themes, then okay, you might want to take some of that, especially if the site is doing phenomenal in local search results, then yeah, you'll probably take some of that content, but generally speaking, it's usually never worth it. So we never automated anything like that. And I would say the same thing goes for Google Business Profiles. I see so many Google Business Profiles that are bare bones, just nothing on it. And that's not going to help the site in any way, shape, or form. But if you have a situation where like you felt you could have extremely benefited from grabbing content from an existing anything, please share that with us very, very specifically. The name of the business, what you would have seen as valuable to grab from the place that it could be grabbed from. I would love to look at that because we're always looking to make the process for building these sites as fast and simple and straightforward as possible to give you everything you need when it comes to building a site that clients are really going to love. Jay's following up just to see if they can see more of their personal information in there. It really makes it seem like this guy really took the time to build a site specifically for me. I'll tell you, Jay, I get what you're saying, and I know it sounds good in your head, and I totally get it, okay? But with the exception of like, you know, this photo on this site, welcome to Marasco Ready Mix. And they have a picture of their staff, you know, arms crossed in front of their truck with the logo on it. I hear you. Yes, that would be a better photo than this. But business owners traditionally have a horrible selection of photos on their Google Business profile because they are not good at taking photos of their business that are marketing worthy. They might take a good business photo that's good for some, you know, social media post or something like that. Fine. Good enough to make on their homepage or even on their site at all, far and few between. It's easy enough for you to go into the site, click edit, go to replace, drag the image into your library, select it, click OK, click save, boom, you've just swapped out a photo on the site. That's easy and fast enough to do where it takes your personal expertise and your eyeball and your sense for what makes a good design and not a good design and apply it to this so that you're not just swapping out images that could actually diminish the quality of the site as opposed to enhance the quality of the site. Personalization does not always trump nice design and quality photography. I'll take one more question if you got it. I'm just going to look in the questions tab right now. All right, Joe, I'll answer this one, then we're going to wrap up. Joseph says, a lot of people ask why a monthly fee. What convincing answer or explanation should I provide on why they're paying a monthly fee? So what I'm going to recommend that you do is take a look at your reseller marketing site, okay? Your reseller marketing site is going to specifically outline everything that's included in that monthly fee. And you can basically just read it off of your pricing chart. Your website monthly fee consists of worry-free cloud hosting, so you're never going to have to be concerned about the site being live or not or coming offline. An SSL certificate, which is designed to make sure that all the information being transferred to and from your site is safe and secure and encrypted. You get full optimization that's perpetual for desktop, tablets, mobile phones, everything. We call it perpetual compatibility, so that every time a new browser, operating system, tablet, smartphone, whatever hits the market, your site will be fully optimized and compatible with it that day. You're cross-browser tested, so all the browsers are going to work the way they should in your site. You get real-time traffic statistics that you can track anytime you want, or I can send them to you. You get the ability to log into your site to make any changes you want 24/7, or have us do it for you. I'm more than happy to accept your texts, your phone calls, your emails with any and all edits you want to make, and I will make them for you, and you will never be billed extra for those changes. And plus, you have our support whenever you need it. You have questions about marketing, your website, business in general, whatever. You have me accessible to you, and rest assured, you're dealing with another business owner. So business owner to business owner, I want you to know that it's my best interest that you walk out of every conversation with us fully satisfied with the answer that I give you, because it is going to reflect on me personally. And I want to make sure that you are going to want to share my services and what I do with anyone else you might come into contact with. Because ultimately, your word to another business owner is actually going to mean more to me than how much I'm charging you. I want to make sure that I can make you and everyone you know as happy as possible with their website. So one of the things I want to highlight is that we do have a link that actually I walk through how to explain the monthly website fee to a client. If you would like to see this, I'm going to put a link into the, can I do this? Can I send the link? Guys, if I do this, I want to know if you guys can all see it. Add a link. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. If I go to, I don't think I can do this. Let's find out. Oh, there you go. Video link. If you guys want to grab that, or type in video into the questions tab, and we will punch that in. All right. Cool. Guys, one key takeaway from today. Give me one thing you heard or saw or witnessed or felt during today's chat that you would like to share. I ask that because I want to know and see what it is that we're delivering to you that is of value, so that you'll come back next time. So give me one thing that's a key takeaway from what we have discussed today. I'm going to read them out loud, so we'll see how everyone feels about today. Andre said how to place video under text. Yes, not over text. We'll never see the text that way. Thank you for that, Andre. It was a great question, too. It's just as simple as removing that photo, swapping out with a video. Craig says reputation management tool, being able to witness that. I'm glad you're able to see that. Tay would love to see a topic on objections during demos. Ooh, Tay, there should be 0 objections during demos. If you're following the protocol for how to present a website to a client, the demo is objection free. If you've got objections, I'm going to venture to say you're not doing it the way we are specifying. How to present a website demo to a prospect. You are golden with this video. Mike appreciated the terms of service page and disclaimer info, as well as the LLC and insurance tips. Cool. Mike appreciated the recommendation on sending a text to people, not answering their phones. Joseph appreciates these sessions and always takes something away. What did you take away this time, Joseph? Did you chime in yet? Love to hear what you got out of it. We are going to be doing another one of these in exactly 2 weeks. Yeah, same time, March 28th, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Would love to have you here. There's going to be things that's going to cross your mind between now and then. Jot them down, email us, whatever. We'll be sure to put them at the front of the line for questions to be answered. When we invite you to these things and we ask for questions, we mean it. Reply. We get to those questions first. Joseph appreciated how to follow up on cold calls and different strategies. Right on, Joseph. Thank you for chiming in with that. All right. Everybody else, I want you to remember Friday, the week is not over. The week is far from over. You have the rest of the day to make calls. You have the rest of the day to follow up with people. You have the rest of the day to get someone on the hook for a website, complete a website, launch a website, whatever it is. We're still here for you today. We're happy to assist however we can. You have the whole weekend ahead of you. For depending on the part of the country you're in, it's going to be a somewhat nice weekend. And that means more people are out and about, more people to talk to, more people to start conversations with. Do it. Do it. Do it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Go sell some sites. See you later. Oh, by the way, if you missed anything and want to watch from the beginning, it's going to start in like 2 minutes. Just I'll click end. It's going to do a spinning thing, and then you'll be able to watch it if you need to.